Hey guys, welcome back to Inventing a Better You. My name is Valentin, and today I decided to do a very quick video about one of the hottest trending topics in the investment world in the past week, and that is the case of GameStop. For those who don't know, GameStop is one of the largest video game retailers in the world that's based in USA. However, they have thousands of retail stores across the globe in Europe, New Zealand, Australia, and Canada. Now, the reason it made the headlines is because this was one of the largest shorted stocks currently in the investment markets. And what that means is you have a bunch of institutional investors that are practically betting against the stock price. So they're hoping that the price will drop and not increase. And institutional investors are very, very large companies like whether it's banks or pension funds or hedge funds. They have the power to purchase millions and millions of shares or sell millions of shares at once, thereby directly impacting a stock's price. So they have the influential power. And because so many of them decided to short it, they created a bearish feeling in the market towards GameStop. Now, GameStop hasn't been doing too hot even before the pandemic. With the pandemic, it was just equally poor. So if you look at the 5-year graph here, there's a little negative slope. They used to trade around $17, and with the pandemic it dropped to like $5.94. And having the institutional investors betting against you, that doesn't help. So this sort of stock was due to fail with time. So what happened, I'm just going to change the graph here back to 1 month. What happened is a bunch of people went on Reddit under this forum called Market Street Beats, and they decided to go against Wall Street and the institutional investors and actually purchase the stock price. Despite having such negative sentiment in the market and the stock being doomed, they wanted to see if enough people would purchase it, would they actually cause the stock price to go up. And that's exactly what happened. So we can see in the past week here, the prices went from, what was it here? At this point in time, it was about 19. It went all the way up to 340. It says for the highest it reached was $413 during an intraday movement. So that is astronomical increase in a stock's price over a duration of 1 week. And so they clearly were successful in this movement, but they were not alone. Actually, what happened is the institutions, seeing that the price was increasing so much and some of their put options expiring, they were forced to buy the stock to at a much higher price, so probably in the hundreds of dollars, to offset some of their losses and to kind of pay back the loans from these puts. So in this situation, these institutional investors lost a lot of money, and some of them even filed for bankruptcy. So it was a very, very big it was a huge uprising, and no wonder it made the news. Now, these particular investors, they decided to do this for a number of stocks. GameStop is the first one that kind of made the headlines, but they're also doing it for BlackBerry and American Airlines. So it'll be interesting to keep an eye on these, how they progress over the next week. Now, I decided to do a little video on GameStop and kind of see, will this trend continue in the next week or not? Sort of what are my thoughts? Well, I'm going to run over 4 financial indicators or technical indicators that I've used in my previous video and see kind of what story those tell us. So right now my chart setting is for 1 month, and in terms of the duration here, I have it for 1 day. So the data is kind of, it's tailored to a short term. And the first indicator is the RSI that I wanted to bring up. Now, the RSI is the Relative Strength Index indicator, as I previously mentioned in my video. And the way you read this one is there's 2 lines, the orange and the yellow. The yellow represents the shortest time period, which is 3 days. It's 3 time periods. And then the orange is the 9. So in this case, you want the yellow to be above orange. Or if not, you want the yellow to sort of be above the middle, which is the 50 line. See, there's a 30 and a 70. Going towards 70 with a positive slope, which is what we have here. And the 70 indicates a territory of overbought shares, 30 is oversold. So if your company is heading towards overbought in a positive slope, so that indicates some positive momentum that could be maintained, which is what we're seeing here. So let's see what another indicator tells us. And next I'm going to select, I'm just going to move this over here. I'm going to select the MACD. And MACD in a similar fashion, the yellow, it's the shortest time period, the yellow line. So you want that to be over the green being the 24 time periods, and the yellow is 8. So we're seeing the yellow being above with a positive slope, indicating again a positive trend that's expected to continue. So far it's looking like this stock has some potential to continue increasing based on what's happened last week, right? Now I'm going to take these two off and focus on two other indicators that will be on the actual price chart. So the exponential moving average one is the first. And for the exponential moving average, there's 3 lines. Again, the shortest duration, represented by the orange, needs to be on top and a positive slope, which is what we're seeing here. So orange needs to be on top of yellow and yellow on top of purple. That's exactly what we're seeing. So again, positive trend expected to continue based on this. And then the Bollinger Bands. If you remember, the red line at the top here represents the resistance. The light green here is the support. So you want the stock price, which is the fluorescent green over here, you want this to increase towards the resistance with a positive slope, which is what we're seeing, and above the blue, which is kind of the median. So the Bollinger Bands are also expecting this positive trend to continue. So now we have 4 indicators that are telling us there's a good chance that the stock in the short term might still increase. Now, I do want to caution people that these sort of movements really depend on the time periods that you use. Like if we were to increase the specificity, for example, to 4 hours, things change. So we're saying like right before the markets closed, 4 hours before, here in terms of the MACD, we're seeing the yellow. Sorry, I accidentally caused these to show me 2 RSIs. Yeah, so the yellow here crosses the green with a negative slope. That indicates a downtrend. And also we're seeing the bars are turning to red instead of green. So that's a potential little sell-off. And then the RSI, the yellow, which is supposed to be above the orange, is actually beneath and dipping. So that's another little potential sell-off. And right here in the volume, we're also seeing a red bar. So the markets practically on Friday closed slightly bearish. So there is a potential that this can also continue on Monday. Now, the reason this one is kind of hard to give it a read is because the ethics boards that govern stocks in the US or Canada, they've kind of halted the process a bit to kind of investigate if anything fishy is going on. And also certain trading platforms like Robinhood have sort of prevented people to purchasing more stocks. Currently on Robinhood, you can only purchase 1 stock of Gamestop, which is gonna really impact the price movement upward. So I'm expecting in the next week to be sort of more of a buy and hold strategy. Most investors will probably hold on to this for the next week or so. So I'm not expecting huge surges in price, but there's a potential for a little bit more increase, but there's also potential for people after 2 or 3 days to start selling to take their profits, because if they're not able to switch to other platforms, if they can switch to other platforms and continue to buy this, then the trend will continually increase. And there was an article that I read recently that individual investors actually kind of called their brokerages and asked them to not lend their shares out. So basically causing sort of a limitation in the amount of shares that are available on the market. And this prevents people to kind of buy and sell, causing the price drop. So I'm expecting that these levels will be maintained. The stock price is extremely expensive right now, so we're not going to see the same like 1,000+% increase over the next week, but anything can happen. So it's up to you if you want to take the risk. I'd be wary. But anyways, I hope you found this video educational, and hopefully over the next week I can cover some of the other stocks that I mentioned, BlackBerry or American Airlines, and see what happens to them. All right, guys, if you found this video useful, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps me a lot if if I see people are very interested in these topics. And if you do have any questions, don't feel free to ask me any question. Don't hesitate. I'm here to help you out. All right, see you. Bye.